That felt good, didn't it? Yeah, that one, it took its sweet little time. It literally came right over our heads, and it wanted us to see it and to realize that, yes, you are looking at something very, very different. I know James is used to it out here, but we're not. So we're going, oh my gosh. And guess what? After I looked up, I looked down, and guess who's standing right next to me? William Henry. And what was great is Alfred, he got one, he was right there, he saw me pull the camera up and he grabbed his camera. And so he's got a great shot of it too, because I think he got a better zoom. So yes, that was wonderful. Now, of course, if we post that on YouTube, people see it for what they will, but one of the things is that I would do is when I post the audio is I just tell people to listen to the experience. Because when we see the satellites, there's one thing, but that experience, because that was a dimensional shift that came in and was oscillating. I mean, my whole body was in the tingle since I saw it. And that's the reason why I was straining the camera up, because every cell was in vibration of this experience. So this was the third year, and it never ceases to amaze. Okay, enough of ECETI. We're going to go into the temple activations and talk about that. A lot of you, if you realize it or did not realize it, I just returned from Egypt. And Elisa, Renee, and I were actually on a mystery school initiation journey. And we literally came back and came here. So we went through a pretty interesting process that none of us could have imagined. And that was one of the great things. I had no expectations or no assumptions of what the journey was going to be. And I was humbled in many ways. So the level of the activations is sometimes in silence. We have to do our work, and it's very hard to explain it to others, because if we do, then sometimes resistance comes into the path. And so on the true journey of the mystery schools, you have to do what you're asked to do or what you agree to do. And you usually do it in silence and secrecy, and just deliver what you're being asked to do. So last year, being asked to come into the Karnak temple, this is the Sekhmet, they call it the Sekhmet temple, the holiest of holies in Karnak. And I was guided to bring a technology that was made specifically for this, to create a stabilization field, to rebalance the grid that has been distorted there. Couldn't tell anybody about it. If I recall, 2 days before that, we had 33 people on the trip, and we had a beautiful girl. She was 32 years old, and was actually the last person to sign up on the trip. She came and awakened in so many ways, and she sat there the night before, and she said, "Oh my God, I am so glad I came. This is one of the most beautiful days of my life." And that night, she died in her sleep. Yes. So is the official story. Her fiance that was there actually said, it was actually almost about 11:11 when this energy came in. He said that she sat up and started speaking in tongues. She had an exchange, and then she just transitioned. So when this happens, we have to look at it in many different ways. And the reason why I bring this up is that when my return to Egypt, I was asked to return to the temple of Edfu, where you were chosen for initiation, 1 year to the date. All you have to do is return to the temple. And I accepted. And from there, I heard the words, "No matter what comes before you." So when the death happened, the family that was with me, going through that awakening and their process of dealing with the death, they asked me to come home with them. And I had to look at them in the deepest love that I could, and said, "I'm not able to. I must continue my journey here." And at that moment, judgment was put in the path. And they said, "You're not coming back with us?" I said, "I love you guys, but I'm not able to. I have to continue what I'm here for. There's much more to this." So in that acceptance of what is to come, I continued my journey. And in my silence, I just moved into the chamber and others that were in tune came in and followed. From there, we opened up a beautiful portal of energy. And I literally went into that state, that trance phase, where a doorway was opened and 3 wise ones actually peered in and looked down and confirmed that the stabilization field was achieved. And at that moment, they asked me to pull my hands out. And then they placed 3 loaves in my hands. And I accepted them in absolute gratitude, and I ate them. And from there, what was great, I have to do a little setup on here because this was on William Henry's tour. And William showed you some photos yesterday of Sekhmet's statue and the energy that was coming off of it. But what is amazing about that is that the man Daryl was there for the 2nd year, just like I was. And this was great because he was such a third-dimensional person. And Brooks was there the 1st year and met Daryl. And we went through a process of orbs with orb discovery with Brooks, and he went off and started showing everybody this process. Because when we started the journey, there was about 6 or 7 people that were shooting orbs. When we were done, 31 people were shooting orbs on the photo on the trip. So it's pretty amazing to see that transformation happen in the human element, not in the camera technology. It's us. So Daryl comes up to me, he goes, you know what, this is my 2nd year here, everyone's shooting these orbs or whatever the heck you want to call them. He goes, I got this camera, I had it here last year, I don't get any of that. And I had a very intimate conversation with him. I said, well, maybe this might be the year that something profound might happen for you. He says, well, if it does, that'll be great. He goes, but I'm not expecting anything. I said, excellent. And that day, Daryl comes in, sees what I'm doing, hears the noise, and then he walks into the other room. And Daryl he takes his camera that's never taken anything before, and he walks in and he starts shooting these photos while we are doing what we are doing in the 3rd room to the left, because there's an empty room, which is the son of Ptah and Sekhmet. I don't remember his name. And then, but the temple of Ptah, and then Sekhmet, she's in the corner. And he started shooting these photos. And what we saw this is when the live stream, the portal was stabilized, he started shooting these photos. So you can see there's orbs, and there's a golden energy coming in. And then this golden energy starts to show movement in many ways. So you can see the swirling. It's a little hard to do this. And these are untouched photos, you have my word on that. They were actually Daryl's, and he gave them to me directly while we were there in Egypt. And then people started to interact and touching it. You can see the changes in the color, to the human interaction, to the energy coming in from the statue, and also energy coming off of the people.